Welcome to MindStrong Coaches. My name is Rachel, and I'm the CEO of MindStrong Fitness, a multi-six-figure, soon-to-be seven-figure online coaching business that I grew 400% in under 8 months. And the purpose of this content is to teach you to do the exact same thing, but in much less time. So we did an earlier episode where we talked about what to do when people tell you that your programs are too expensive, when your pricing is too expensive. And as we said in there, you're always going to hear this. It doesn't matter if your program's set at $89 or $10,000. There are always going to be those people who tell you that it's too expensive. And in that episode, I referenced the fact that we were going to dig in deeper. We were going to devote a whole episode to why undercharging not only hurts your brand, but also hurts your clients. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So as we talked about in that earlier episode, and if you haven't watched it yet or listened to it yet, I suggest you go back and check that one out. We talked about the fact that, especially when you're new to this, one of my favorite expressions, we can talk about surfing all day long, but at some point you got to get in the water, right? This is one of those topics where you can read all the books, you can listen to all the podcasts, you can watch all the YouTube videos, but in the beginning, when you do it, it's still going to be uncomfortable. Talking about pricing when you're new to sales is uncomfortable. Raising your prices when you're new to sales is uncomfortable. And at the core, the key to all this is number one, in your communication, in understanding what you're offering and why it's worth every penny that you're charging and more, why it's a deal the way it's set. And number two goes along with that of standing in your power. Now, for the purpose of today's conversation, right, it's obvious when we talk about undercharging why that's hurting you. Because as business owners, especially in the coaching world, man, there's so many people who get into these bidding wars where it's like, oh, so-and-so is coaching for this much, I'll do it for this much. And that is the worst thing you can be doing for your business. If your pricing model is based around trying to lowball the person next to you, the person you are lowballing more often than not has not made it past the side hustle, right? They're probably training a few days a week in Joe Schmo's gym, earning a few bucks here and there in a way that A, cannot support their family, and B, they are tied like a ball and chain to that gym. So if your plan is to go in there and try to lowball them, you're driving yourself into the ground. You're never going to get your business to a place where you have freedom, where you can do this full time if that's your goal, or you have any kind of flexibility, right? My motto is understand your worth and charge accordingly. It has nothing to do with what the guys next to you is doing. I would rather be 10 times the most expensive person in the room than trying to lowball my way into having more clients. But the thing that we're going to hone in on today is why this is also doing a disservice to your clients, not just to your business, right? Your business is a bit more obvious. You're going to drive yourself into the ground, like we just said. But this is doing a disservice to your clients. Okay, think about this for a second. You're standing there, you have two potential clients in front of you. The first one, you say to them, why do you want to work with me? And immediately they're like, man, I hear you are the best. I've seen your before and after pictures. I've read your testimonials. My friend's best friend's cousin's brother worked with you and had nothing but amazing reviews to give. Like, I know that if I want results, you are the person to work with. Name your price. Let's go. Like, I don't have to say anything else, right? We already know what the experience with that client is going to be like. They're going to do the work. Even when there's a learning curve in the beginning, they're going to put in the work. They're going to get those mind-blowing before and after pictures. They're going to shout your name from the rooftops. They're going to have referrals pouring in, and they're going to have an amazing transformation that overhauls their life. It completely transforms their life. Now, client B standing there, you say, hey man, why do you want to work with me? And they say, because you're the cheapest out there. Like, what? We already know this person's story. This person is not making it past week number 2 with you, right? If their only measure of who they want to work with is who is the least expensive, you already know everything you have to know about that client's drive to work with you. We're not judging them as a person. Maybe they have legit financial hardships. But when we're talking about the dedication to this, it is a no-brainer between those clients of who's going to put in the work. Now, the problem is client B, the one that's only there for the bargain. It's not that they're just that they're going to drop off in week 2. It's that this now becomes about you, your company, and your brand, right? One of my favorite examples for this is if you go on any website and you buy some headphones and you get the headphones and they're complete pieces of crap. They sound like tin. They break after a week. You're not just going to return those headphones and get your money back. You are never buying that brand again. And if your best friend says, hey, I'm in the market for some headphones, the first thing you're going to say is, do not buy this brand. I bought that brand. It was a piece of crap. I will never give them my money again. You're going to trash talk them into the ground. Well, that person, you could have the best company in the world, but if that person was only there for the bargain and they dropped off after week 2, chances are that person's story is not, well, I only signed up with them because they were the cheapest. I didn't really put the work in. I dropped. That's not the story they're telling, right? If we're honest, that person saying, yeah, I paid this person what to them probably still felt like a bunch of money. I paid them a bunch of money. 2 weeks in, nothing was happening for me. So I dropped off. It was a complete waste of money. Don't sign up for them. If you get 30 clients like this, in no world is your business sticking around, right? It doesn't matter if you have the best company in the world, if you're the best coach in the world, if you're the best educator in the world, it doesn't matter. Because if word of mouth is that what you're doing isn't working, your business is done. And it doesn't matter if in theory what you're doing could work, but the people you're attracting are the kind who aren't putting the work in. None of that matters, because the word on the street, the story behind your brand is that it's ineffective. Now, this again, it goes back to my surfing analogy. This can be tough in the beginning, because if you have 50 people lined up at your door and you have a brand new business, you want all 50 piling in. But the reality is, and you'll learn this the longer you do this, and if you've been this in a while, you know this already, it is better to have one person who is completely killing the game than 50 who are dropping off after those 2 weeks. Because one or two clients who are putting in the work, who are getting those transformational before and after pictures, who are sending you referrals, who are shouting your name from the rooftops, those two people create a domino effect, right? How many people, pick one person in your life, how many people do they know? 100, 1,000, depending on the person, 2,000. Their referral, their word of mouth is worth its weight in gold. But the 50 people who are dropping off after 2 weeks, who aren't getting the results, who are now going to their network of 100,000 people, trash talking your company, now the domino effect is happening in the worst way possible. So it is more important to stand firm in your boundaries. This is what it costs to work with me. This is what I offer. If it's not for you, I love you. Here's some lower priced options if you want to give them referrals to someone else. But drawing in your people, in the business world, you'll hear it referred to as your ideal client. But it's not just about this avatar of ideal clients. It's literally the people who are going to invest in themselves, the people who are going to feel that sting. Now, I want to harp on that sentence for a little bit. Anything in life that we talk about, anything in life that is a milestone, monumental moment, typically comes with a sting, right? If we go to the bookstore and we buy a new book for $10, we might be excited that we bought a book, but that wears off, right? Maybe you talk about how great the book is, but it's not about the $10 you spent on that book, right? You're not going home each night and wiping down the cover and putting it on its display. It's a $10 book. If it gets ruined, you'll buy another one. But you go spend 50 grand on a car, right? You go spend 400 grand on a house. You are going to take good care of that puppy, right? Because you felt a sting making that investment. If you just spend 20 grand on an engagement ring, Lord knows you were getting that insured. You were making sure that you know exactly where it is all moments, because you felt a sting when you made that purchase. And this is true of your clients. It has to sting a little bit. And I don't sugarcoat. Within MindStrong Fitness, when we're selling our Ignite program, I flat out tell people, you're going to see, it doesn't matter if this price on the next slide is $100 or $10,000. The wired in response in your head is going to be, it's too expensive. And then we can get a whole conversation about neural connections and limiting beliefs and all that. But it doesn't matter what the price is. We've already talked about, they're going to say it's too expensive. But now what we need to understand is we need to explain to them that's on purpose. Because if this doesn't sting, if you don't have to sacrifice for this to happen, you are not going to take it seriously. Once in a while, there's a person who will. We'll do a whole episode on scholarships. There's sometimes we see someone who like lives and breathes this and needs it, but they are living paycheck to paycheck. There's a dire situation, and we'll talk about what to do. We don't ever discount. Sometimes we do scholarships, which are very different. But for the most part, if your price point is set in a place where it's like, yeah, cool, I'll try this. I've tried a million other things. Why not try this? Now you're setting yourself up for those 50 people who are going to drop off. When it's at a price point where it's like, listen, this stings. Find a way to make it happen. You need to do so. You need to go have a conversation with your spouse. You need to go figure out a 0% credit card to put this on for a little bit. The results will be tenfold, but you need this to sting to make this happen, to take this seriously, to make this sacrifice. Those are the clients that you want. Because when you sacrifice for something, come hell or high water, you are going to put in the work, right? It's the difference of if you sign up for an online course and it costs $49. Maybe you watch the course, maybe you don't watch the course, But if you hire a one-to-one business coach who costs $10,000, you are going to do the homework they give you every freaking week because you just dropped 10 grand to work with this person. You're not slacking. You're not saying, oh, I'll do it next week. I'll do it next week. You want your money's worth. And it is the same thing for your clients. Your price points need to be set in a place that stings, and we don't sugarcoat it. That's a matter of opinion. Some people prefer to not address that point. I don't. I like to tell them because we're dealing with limiting beliefs about the effectiveness of losing weight, about our relationship with money. I tell them flat out, this has to sting for you to take it seriously. At the end of the day, undercharging your clients is a lose-lose. Making it in a place where it is going to feel that sting is a win-win. It's not just for you. It's a little more obvious why for you, because your business is going to stay afloat. You're going to get your ideal clients funneled into your program, but it's also for your clients because when they feel that sting, they're going to take it more seriously. And those are the clients who are going to get the results.